My parents already had 2 sons when my mother got pregnant with me. Sebastian was 6 and Andre was 4 years old. During the pregnancy, my mother felt that there was something wrong. It was her female intuition or my mother's instinct, I don't know. But the doctors couldn't find anything. However, as soon as I was born, they saw that my mother had been right. My skin was yellow and I wouldn't drink. More things were wrong, but I can't really remember exactly what. After being in a normal hospital for 2 weeks, they sent me to a special children's hospital. There they did a lot of tests on me. My condition was so bad that my parents were called to the hospital in the middle of the night 3 times in the first 2 months alone, because the doctors thought that I would die. But apparently I was strong and I survived. Finally, after 5 months, they figured out what was wrong with me. I have a pituitary insufficiency. What does that mean? Well, there's a small part in our brain called the pituitary gland. That part produces all our hormones. And on mine, there is a sign that says out of order. Mine just doesn't work, and that means that I don't have growth hormones and female hormones, among other things. So I couldn't grow on my own. This disease isn't very common. First, I got donor growth hormones twice a week, but that wasn't enough. The doctor said that with this amount I would become 145 centimeters short, and this already cost a lot of money. But because of this donor growth hormone, I got better, and after 3 months my parents could take me home for the very first time. We lived in a small town, in a nice house with a big backyard. We also had a German Shepherd dog, which I loved. Because I didn't get enough growth hormones, I grew slower than most kids, and I already was 5 months behind. When I was 4 years old and my mom took me to primary school, I was so small the teacher didn't think I was old enough for school and almost sent me and my mom back home. When I was 5 years old, they invented synthetic growth hormones. I got these every day, and because of that, I am now 175 centimeters. I don't really remember liking or disliking primary school. I do remember that I was bullied a bit in the last 2 years. In the Netherlands, primary school is for the age of 4 till 12, and secondary school is for the age of 12 till 16 or 17. The bullying got worse in secondary school. I had flappy ears, I was shy, and I didn't have fancy brand name clothes. The first 2 years were the worst, because I didn't have any friends then. I felt so insecure that I had surgery on my ears. It made me feel better about myself, but it didn't stop the bullies. During these 2 years, my schoolwork went from mediocre to very bad. That resulted in me doing the second year twice, but this was a good thing, because in this new class I met 3 girls whom I became friends with. The 4 of us still got bullied, but we didn't care. We had fun with the 4 of us. Together, we were big fans of Take That, Backstreet Boys, and other boy bands. After secondary school, I went to a college to learn how to work with and take care of kids, like in a daycare center or as a teacher's assistant in primary school. During those years, I did volunteer work with my youngest older brother Andrew in a youth center. It was like a club for people of 16 and older. It was a small club. I worked at the bar or behind the entrance counter. I loved working there. When I was in my second year of college, something really bad happened. My brother Andrew got in a motorcycle accident. He lost his left leg and almost didn't make it. He was in the hospital for half a year, and after that he spent 3 months in a rehabilitation center. That was an awful and stressful year. I cried a lot. After all this, my bond with Andrew only got stronger, and now he isn't just my brother, but one of my best friends as well. During my first years of college, I was really insecure due to the bullying back at my secondary school. I was shy and even scared. First, I only wore grey and black clothes. Not gothic clothes, just boring clothes, so I wouldn't stand out or draw attention to myself. In secondary school, I had tried everything to fit in with the cool kids. Now I just tried everything not to get noticed at all. I only had a few friends, and even here in college there were bullies. I didn't really like my class, but it wasn't as bad as my first years of secondary school. In my third year, I went to a psychologist for my low self-esteem. It was there that I realized that I would rather be bullied because of who I really was than being bullied for someone I was trying to be to fit in. Because there will always be bullies. After that, I didn't care anymore what the bullies or the strangers thought of me. I started to dress and act just the way I wanted. This made me feel a lot happier. After I graduated, I started to work in a daycare center. I also stopped my work at the youth center and started to do volunteer work at a community center. Every Friday they organized a disco for kids in the age of 11 to 16. There I met my husband, Bas. He worked there too. First we were best friends for 3 years. Later on I learned that Bas liked me from the first moment he ever saw me. But because I had a boyfriend back then, he never tried anything. When I broke up with that boyfriend, I started to see how great Bas was. We kissed for the first time during a Halloween movie marathon and started to date after that. At the community center, I also met Marie. She was a visitor there, and so she was quite a bit younger than me. But I always got along way better with people younger than me. Marie, her younger sister Julia, and a few other visitors became very good friends of ours. We were all a bit gothic and alternative at the time. Marie is still my very best friend. When I was 26, I moved out of my parents' house and into a small one-bedroom rental apartment. First I lived there alone, but after a few months Bas moved in. After another few months, our good friend Eve moved in too. So now we were living with 3 people in this small apartment. It was cramped, but that year was one of the best years of my life. We had so much fun with the 3 of us and with all the other friends that visited us frequently. We also had 2 awesome neighbors, even though the rest of the neighborhood was kinda scary. In that year I also got a cat for the first time in my life. Her name is Tifa. I got her from an animal shelter when she was only 7 months old. After she was with us for 2 weeks, we found out that she was pregnant. She gave birth to 3 adorable kittens, 2 boys and a girl. One of the boys went to live with a friend of ours. He got the name Bran. We kept the other 2. We named the girl Freya and the boy we named Boo. They're all computer game names, because my husband is a gamer. Later on, we even got a 4th cat, named Donder, which means thunder. Even after living in that tiny apartment for a year and a half, Bas and I bought a 3-bedroom apartment. Eve was still living with us, and so he moved along with us to the new house. In the next 4 years, 2 other friends would come and live with us and move out again, just like Eve. Now it is only me, Bas, and our 4 cats. When Bas and I were together for 6 years, I proposed to him. We got married on August 31st, 2010. As I told you in a previous vlog, we started trying to get pregnant right away with the help of hospital visits and medication. Sadly, after 3 years, we found out that due to my disease, I can't have children of my own. During that time, my father was fighting cancer, my mother's health decreased too, and I lost my job due to a very mean and unfair manager. All this made me have a burnout. I was really sad and depressed for half a year, but I'm feeling a little bit better every day now. Now my husband and I are deciding between egg cell donation or adoption. We aren't giving up on our wish to become parents. On March 17th, 2012, right in the middle of us getting pregnant and everything, I discovered K-pop. And I'm very glad that I did, because it cheered me up in the times that I felt sad. It also gave me some amazing opportunities like meeting awesome people, travel to London and Berlin, go to concerts and meet and greets, and starting this awesome channel.